Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program SUPERDAWN. I am Vera Super with you this morning, and I'm not alone here.
And starting off this wonderful Wednesday morning with you, I'm Blessed Amanda. Say good morning and welcome.
And a very beautiful morning to you. Thanks for joining us. I am Precious and Mike.
Precious, good to have you back after a long while. We're excited seeing you this morning. I'm sure the viewers have really missed you, but thank God you're back.
Thank you.
Well, today on this program, we're going to look at the role of the media in democracy. We all know that they are called the fourth estate realm, and they are supposed to stimulate the citizens building and developing issues from them and letting them know the happenings and current issues in the country. Well, today we're going to look at that and open the phone lines. Don't forget that we are live on YouTube, so you can just follow us straight off. And we also want to look at the papers, what the papers are saying this morning. For the papers section, that's the tabloid section, we will not take phone calls. You can SMS us during the segment, but after the tabloid, when we want to look at the role of the media in democracy, the phone lines will be open for you to call and make your contributions. First, we must go on this break, and when we come back, we want to tell you what the papers are saying this morning.
SUPERDAWN, your daily live current affairs program, where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's the newspaper review segment, and we take the first story from the Daily Trust this morning. Dasuki writes court vows not to submit to further trials, and the writer says here he can be tried in absentia prosecution. The former National Security Advisor NSA, retired Colonel Sabo Dasuki, has written to the federal government, to Federal High Court in Abuja, demanding to be excused from further appearance for his trial.
I mean, I mean, that's the saying, you don't want to be in court for your trial, and it's always a very difficult thing to not have the accused in court for trial. But he must have a reason for that. I mean, his case has been dragging on for so long. It's one of those very controversial cases that have divided lawyers in the country. So hopefully there's a good reason behind that, and let's see how that goes on.
Yes,
I'll just go with what she said. Let's see how it goes, because as it is right now, the case has been on for so long. And then again, what is the essence of, I'm just saying, what's the essence of going to the court and all that, and at the end of the day, the people who are holding him hostage are not willing to let him go and all that. But if the trial can still go on in his absence, fine, let them see how they can go about it.
Yes, it might just be that he's been granted bail, but that's not been granted. He's been given bail and it's not been granted. Maybe that's why he's saying he's not going anymore. But I have to read what the prosecution says here. However, following Dasuki's absence in court yesterday, the prosecution counsel Dikbo Okpeseye San asked the court to proceed without Dasuki in line with Section 352 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act in 2015. He argued that he was not given notice of later, so the trial must continue in absentia. Also, we also have this coming in. Trial may become a non-entity, Ambomolu said. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Chief Adegboye, Awomolu, has urged the federal government to release the former NSA to ensure his trial doesn't become an entity in the face of the law. But also, cases, I have to read this also, cases involving federal government and Dasuki. The former NSA was on September 1, 2015, arraigned before the Federal High Court in Abuja on charges of illegal possession of arms and money laundering. He was granted bail. In December, that's after September, he was rearranged before the Federal High Court in Abuja alongside Salisu and others, and also for diversion of money also. 2 days later, on December 15th, it was charged to court again. It's been on and on and on. When will this Dasuki's case come to an end?
You know, while you were reading, something flashed through my mind, and I was asking myself, is the law this complicated? Or have we created a complicated, judiciary system ourselves? Because you want to look at how the justice system works in other countries. It is not this complicated. So it's very possible that we, as a country, have now created a very complicated legal system that makes cases drag for so long, and you still don't get the judgment for those cases.
Okay, we also have in the papers here, Labour issues December ultimatum for 30,000 minimum wage. The organized labor yesterday gave December as deadline for full implementation of the 30,000 new national minimum wage. It also warned that any reduction in 30,000 agreed by the Committee on the National Minimum Wage as contained in the report to the President, or any further delay in passage will lead to the consequences they will not accept. Okay, this again, remember that they had a strike, a window strike, and they carried out the strike. The federal government had a meeting with them and they canceled the strike based on the issue on ground. The federal government has accepted, according to them at that period, to take the 30,000 minimum wage. But some governors frown at that, saying they might not be able to pay. They were forced again to accept that. But right now, it's looking as if this might not work.
If Labour will have to go on strike again, it shows that next year, January is certainly going to be blink for Nigeria, because if by December, the deadline they've given to the federal government, if by December they did not implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage, it shows that January Nigerians should be expecting strikes and all that. But then again, there's still time for the FG and the Labour to come together to dialogue and see how they can meet, get to a particular point whereby they can be able to look for a means or ways to see how they can implement this 30,000 naira, and how all the state governors can also ensure that this 30,000 naira becomes standing, and every other parties involved be able to go about paying it and all that. But then again, we're watching and seeing how it's going to turn out.
I mean, both sides of the argument have a very valid point. Workers need to be taken care of. They need to earn more. But you also listen to the governors when they say, we've not been able to pay what we owe, so how do we pay this? But you want to ask, why have you not been able to pay what you owe? What are you spending monies on? And then the thing with this is, this administration terminates May 29. If you don't have this current administration returning on May 29, it means that you have to start, if you don't resolve this now, you have to start a new conversation with the new person in office, and then it drags on all over again. So the earlier they resolve this issue of minimum wage, the better. The
passage was passed to the president, and our president also accepted. He said he had gotten that passage, but we're still waiting for that to come to an end, because it's not looking as though they are ready to accept the 30,000. But we must look at what is happening. The economy right now, the way the economy is going, can 30,000 actually feed 3 families? It's a question that keep coming and keep coming. But we'll continue with the Daily Trust. We have this: EFCC intercepts 211 million worth of gold at the Lagos airport. We also have police nab Ogumonak over 15.5 million land fraud. Finally, from the Daily Trust this morning, airline federal government defer over multiple routes for foreign carriers. We're moving away from Daily Trust, and we take some stories in the New Telegraph.
And starting off with the New Telegraph paper this morning, and starting with the bold caption on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, Oshibanjo has questions to answer, reps insist. And that's on page 4. It's all about the $5.8 billion NEMA fund. I'll quickly take the story here. Contrary to Deputy from Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, that he did no wrong in the approval of 5.8 billion naira for emergency intervention of food security to the Northeast in June 2017. When he was acting president, the House of Representatives has insisted that the number 2 man may have questions to answer as chairman of the governing board of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. The House has also denied any interference with its activities by Speaker Yakubu Dugara or any principal officer in the Parliament. The Vice President had, at the weekend, through his spokesman, Laolu Akonde, denied that he indulged in any untoward actions, but explained that the funds were released to prevent a looming disaster as a result of severe food shortage through the Northeast. There have been reports that the 5.8 billion naira that was disbursed by the Vice President, then acting president, in June 2017, when the president was on medical vacation and all that, and the House of Representatives have come out to say, okay, fine, they've looked into these, they've investigated it, and they realized that the 5.8 billion naira that was approved by the acting president, then now the vice president, was not actually channeled to the right quarters and all that. And from their investigation and the reports, their conclusion, they realized that it was fraud and all that. And now the vice president, the reps are saying here that the vice president has questions to answer on this. And the question on everyone's mind now really was if truly the $5.8 billion that was disbursed that was signed by the vice president, the acting president then, for NEMA, to the IDP camps and all that. One is wondering here, why are we not having some kind of legal document or the EFCC coming to it to look into the situation to probe further to see if truly the vice president is guilty of this charge or not? Okay,
but for us now, it's another story of accountability coming in here now, because we do not ask. We do not push for accountability. We do not ask, you know. So it's strange when people begin to question you over some certain things. As a government, as a people, we must ask, we must question, we must view in, we must deliberately want to find out what happens when monies are being disbursed to people. Well, this issue came in, I think, a few days ago, yeah. And it's been on for some time, where the National Assembly feels the money's been disbursed. At first, they said there was no approval for that. Then later, they came up to say it didn't go well because it wasn't properly channeled. And they said they are going to invite the vice president to tell them what he spent those monies for. And that's what we're talking about here as people, where people gives you money, you don't want to ask why. Someone comes to tell you about, I'm going to build this when I enter office, and you're not finding out how do you go about it. So I don't think it's wrong for them to ask questions. Or do you think the president should be called for probe and all that?
I don't know, because again, the first thing you have to do is investigate, and it doesn't even begin to get to the EFCC yet. That's what the National Assembly is for. But the thing is, we're talking about $5.8 billion here. We're not even